everyone, this is Caroline with You Are Created Beautifully. Well, I was unsure if I wanted to share this topic here on my channel. I think there's a learning curve that all of us could learn from this story. And I also always talk about my channel being encouraging. And I think this is one of those times where I think some of us just neglect. I know that I used to be like this, so I'm kind of like a recovering person doing this. Like being on the other side of it now, you can see how you could really end up hurting someone by just some of the comments that you say, not really thinking about it, or some of the stares. Overall, just your attitude towards people that are doing something that may be different from you. What I'm gonna do is insert a clip on what I'm talking about right here. So what are these things called? Child harnesses. Some people look at them as a child leash, a leash on your child. I have owned a harness for all of my children, starting from my very first one. And I will have to say this, when I first put that harness on my child, my sister objected to it. It was just like, oh my God, it's just like you're treating him like a pet. I'm gonna share with you my reason. Should I even go there? I don't even know if I wanna go there because the video is about that, but it's kind of more than just the harness. This is my umbrella topic for this video. I encourage everybody to be a lot more kinder to each other out there on the street. People with road rage, people who have assumptions about how someone does a certain thing, how someone parents, you know, I would label this more of a parent shaming moment for me. There's just natural judgments that we hold against each other. And I think sometimes those judgments come up and it's just ignorance that you're putting out there towards other people. Just hoping that this conversation kind of enlightens a lot of us, including myself, on how to carry ourselves where we are caring about other people and not just ourselves. My old pastor said this: you don't need to give your 2 cents away. Some of you need to keep your 2 cents because that's really all you have. I'm gonna just leave that at that. We went to Santa Cruz to the mystery spot. For you guys who are in the Bay Area, check that out. That place is actually really cool. It's probably like a 15-minute tour. My 2-year-old is fully embracing his terrific tooth. So I had the harness on my child. He definitely needs correcting. Everyone deals with that in their own way. You know, you do the timeout. I still do pow-pows, which is spanking, but I haven't really started with my 2-year-old. I think that's part of the reason. When we walked into that place, I put the harness on and my son was twisting and turning, he was crying, he was whining, but it was something that I felt I needed to do because I wanted to keep him safe. We were in a new place and there was a lot to touch and I wanted to keep my child safe, which is why I purchased the harness in the first place. But let me tell you guys, I have never gotten so many crazy looks from people. Maybe it was in my mind, but I felt like people were whispering and making comments while me and my child were going past. Y'all know how I'd be flying off the handle. I was about to confront this family. I could hear snickering behind me, but then, you know, it's Jesus, because I was about to turn around and be like, is there a problem? You guys know me and regret. Right when I was about to confront these people, they turned around, they looked away. I just thought, how many of them were just doing this out of just pure ignorance and not thinking about me? How many of them knew if I was having a rough day? How many of them even stopped to say, oh, do you need help? No, none of them did that. I felt very prejudged. Okay, and I know that these are just my assumptions. Someone does something dumb on the road, right? Our quickest response is like, what are you doing? Blow our horn. We're living in such a world of so much pain, so much hurt, and none of us even stop to put a real face on people. It's like, you're in my way, you got to move. You're not doing it the way I do it, so you're wrong, and I'm gonna show you you're wrong. If we could just stop as mankind and kind of put faces and just pause and be more kinder to each other and be more loving to each other. Just that little change, I think, could change the world. With Kate Spades' suicide, and I forget the other gentleman's name, who was like a chef that traveled the world. You know, it just makes me realize that we are in a world, especially the Bay Area, that's just so congested with so many people. But how many of us are actually just being heard? How much of us are stopping enough to just listen versus just speaking to be heard, but actually just listening? Take a pause and put someone before ourselves. I think that's my biggest umbrella thing about the whole harness, because I've just felt at that time like no one was really thinking about me, and especially not my son. Like no one even bent down to say, hey kid, how are you doing? You know, like it bothered me more in a way where like I'm hoping to slow myself down enough to be like, when someone's taking long or when someone's doing something differently, instead of staring, instead of like making comments or rolling my eyes, to stop enough to like, if you don't have anything productive to say, you know, like that old tale that we learned in elementary, don't say anything at all. And trying to lend a hand, a better way of dealing with stuff versus you having your judgment on people. Like, come on people, you've been there. You know what it's like you're having a horrible day. Like I wasn't having a horrible day. That was just my 2-year-old being my 2-year-old, and I love him. I wanted to embrace him. It actually made me love on him more that day and try to be understanding. Like he didn't want to come to this tour. He doesn't know what's going on here. I brought him there. I just wanted to share these thoughts about this harness, just because I think in general, some of us prejudge each other. Some of us are rude. Some of us are mean. And I just think if you stop enough to think about what you say and what you do towards another person, how they are feeling at that moment, I think would stop a lot. There was ever a time where you felt you could have dealt with something in a different way because of your judgments, because of your own preconceived notions about how something is supposed to be done? Why don't you leave it down below? Because I think it's encouraging that all of us make mistakes. All of us do a lot of things that we regret. And I think we could learn from each other. To give this video a thumbs up. I wish you guys well. God bless you. Bye. Don't forget to, okay, just let him be. Just let him come. Don't forget.